Things that I like. Hi, how are you? So today, on today's YouTube episode, I would like to share with you things that I like. And I have a whole list of things, and I'll just say what they are, and I will talk about them. And hopefully you will enjoy hearing about things that I like, and maybe you like them too. And if you don't like those things and you like other things, I would love to know the things that you like. So one of the things that I like, if you watch my Instagram videos, you know that I love DVDs. I love DVDs. I love actually holding the movie in my hand, taking out the disc, putting it in the DVD player or Blu-ray, and being able to play it. Because the thing about DVDs, one, they can't change anything on it. Maybe they do on streaming services, I don't know. But the thing about it, once it's on the DVD, I've got it forever. And so I have the original when it came out. This is what it is forever. And I love all the extras. And you don't always get all the extra stuff with streaming. So like, for example, You've Got Mail. So Nora Ephron does this great director commentary, and she tells you, she breaks it down. Okay, now we're in Act 2, and in Act 2 we do scene this, and she tells you all the behind the scenes stuff that went into making that scene. And I love knowing all the behind the scenes stuff of how they made a movie, and what it was like putting that together, and what the intention of the scene was, and then seeing all the gag reels and all the behind the scenes footage. And then I just love all the extras on a DVD because I learned so much. As a writer, I learn, why they chose that particular color for that particular costume. And they had rain on this day and they were only able to get this one shot when the sun was open. And I just love all knowing that behind the scenes stuff. I'm a very curious person. I love to know, how the sausage is made. And one of my favorite DVDs is Star Trek Generations. And I've talked about this before on Instagram, but the screenwriters were working on Next Generation TV show, and then they also do the screenwriter commentary on this DVD. And they talk about... It's so refreshing because they tell you all the mistakes they made. It's like, oh, we should have written this better. Yeah, the Nexus, we really didn't understand what the Nexus was in this story. We should have fleshed that out a little bit better. And then they talk about how they were supposed to have Captain Kirk and Jean-Luc Picard, and everyone was expecting the two captains to have an epic space battle with lasers and stuff, and face-to-face battles. And then they say, they get to the scene where Captain Picard and Captain Kirk meet, and they're like, yeah. And then we decided to put the two captains wearing aprons in a kitchen. Yeah, we really didn't do that very well. And I just love their honesty. It's one of my favorite DVD commentaries. So, yes, DVDs and behind the scenes stuff is something that I like. I also like Star Trek. I love Star Trek because that Enterprise is so clean. I would love to work on the Enterprise, or maybe just hang out there. I don't know. It's carpeted in the Next Generation. I like the carpeting. I don't know how often they vacuum on the Enterprise, but it looks like a lot. It's just so clean and luxurious. And I like the little computer sounds, and I like the big screen. And if I ever make, millions of dollars, I would like to construct the Enterprise bridge, in my home, that I can just sit in the captain's chair and watch TV, and that would just be the ultimate for me. Anyway, so I like Star Trek. Space, I like space. I used to like space more. But now space seems kind of boring. You see Star Wars and space seems so exciting with all the lasers and everything like that. But, it's great that we're finding planets next to stars, and, we can see telescopes that see farther. That's great, but it's just more stars and more stuff. And, we discovered a new nebula, and gosh, that's great. But space just seems kind of boring to me now. If they find a planet where the inhabitants just make desserts, and it's a dessert planet, they have mountains made out of cupcakes or stuff like that, I would be interested in hearing about that. But mostly the space news they have now is just kind of boring. So, but the thing that's not boring to me is I like hearing about Mars. And I like thinking about Mars and how we're going to colonize Mars and what it would be like going to Mars. I don't know how they're going to have a crew. Let's say they have a crew of 7 people. It's going to take 9 months to get to Mars. They're going to spend about a year on Mars until they can, the planets line up and they can come back. And then they got to spend another 9 months coming back to Earth. And I can't fathom, let's say the crew has 7 people. How are those 7 people going to get along for 2 years in a tin can for 9 months and then living on a desert planet where they can't breathe outside? They only can breathe inside and in their helmets, and then they got to spend 9 months with these same people coming back in the tin can. You tell me there's not going to be any drama? How are these people going to get along? It baffles me, and I love thinking about how are these people going to get along? I'm hoping it's a reality show when they go to Mars. They just put cameras everywhere. We get to watch the trip, and then how do they decide who's going to be the first person to walk out of the spaceship and be the first person to step on Mars? How are they going to decide? Do they draw straws? Is there a captain and the captain gets to go out first? And if the captain goes out first, or anybody goes out first, what is the first words they're going to say on Mars? That, one giant leap for mankind. How are they going to say something better than that? What profound thing could they possibly say? I'm kind of hoping that the first person walking out of the spaceship onto Mars trips and falls onto the Martian surface and says, "Oh, and then the first word spoken on Mars will be, "Oh, I just would find that humorous. Anyway, I like to think about Mars a lot. What else do I like? Oh, I like food. I do. I like pizza. I like chicken piccata. That's my favorite. Chicken piccata with a side of pasta. Score. I like anything orange. I like oranges, and I like orange drinks. I like orange popsicles. I like anything orange. Orange vitamin water zero is kind of my favorite. So yeah, orange ice cream. I like pies. I like buying a pie at the store and just sticking a fork in the middle of it and eating from the outside, or no, from the inside out. It feels very powerful. This is my pie, and I shall eat it however I wish. Just stick the fork right in the middle of the pie. Anyway, that's something that I like. I like, I should have had some with me. I like those colorful plastic coated paper clips, the big ones, not the small ones. I love those paper clips, man. There's just something about those. I like paper clips, but they have to be colorful and they have to be coated with the plastic. I also like wide sidewalks. Anytime there's a wide sidewalk, especially if they install a new wide sidewalk. Oh, I love a new wide sidewalk. It's so luxurious. Anyway, yes, I like breezes. I like not a strong wind, but I like a nice breeze. I really do like a nice breeze. What else do I like? I like the desert. I like being able to see for miles, and the desert's clean. The desert is like the Enterprise. It's just very clean. Didn't Lawrence of Arabia say that in that movie, Lawrence of Arabia? Why do you like the desert? It's very clean. Because you can see for miles in all directions. I like it more than the forest. The forest is very mysterious. You can't see very far. Trees are in the way. But I like the desert. I like the heat more than I do like the cold. What else do I like? I like lifting weights. Actually, I don't like lifting weights. I like how I feel after lifting weights. I like how I feel after exercises, but I don't enjoy actual exercising. But after exercise, I don't enjoy exercising, but I enjoy how I feel after exercising, because you got all those, those chemicals working. All those brain chemicals working. I like Thursdays. Thursday's my favorite day because then the next day's Friday and then the next day's Saturday. Because as you're living Friday and as you're living Saturday, you're like, yeah, this is great, but it's happening and it's ending 1 minute at a time as I'm experiencing it. But when you're on Thursday, you still got something to look forward to. Friday and Saturday are coming. Just like looking forward to Thursday or Friday and Saturday. So I like Thursday, especially Thursday night. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. I like that feel. I like the feel of a Thursday. And I associate colors with each day of the week. For some reason in my mind, I always have. Thursdays are orange. And you know I like orange. For some reason, when I think of Thursdays, I think of the color orange. Fridays, maybe a purplish red. Saturday's very red. Sunday's kind of either a green or a blue. No, Sunday's kind of a purple or green. And then Monday's definitely blue. And then Tuesday, I think, is yellow. Wednesday is green. And then, yeah, we're back to Thursday, and that's orange. I do that with numbers, too. 2 is blue. 3 is green. And I think it just has to do with what it rhymes with. 3 green, 2 blue, 4 orange. And I never figured that out until now. Yeah. Wow, this is happening in real time. But, yeah, I associate colors with certain things. Anyway, I like offices and movies and TV. I like movies and TV shows where they're organizing things and they're planning things. Office movies like Wall Street and Office Space and Devil Wears Prada, where they're in an office working. I just love movies about offices. I don't know why, but I really like it. Oh, is it an office? Awesome. I don't like working in an office. But I like seeing other people in an office because they're planning stuff. And I love the idea of planning. That's why I like heist movies. I like Ocean's 11 and Italian Job and movies like that, where they're planning things and then they pull off the heist. And I really like heist movies. And it's the planning. I love organizing. I love efficiency. I love to-do lists. I love, when I plan my to-do list, I usually have a heist movie soundtrack playing. Like Ocean's 11 or Italian Job, and or Thomas Crown Affair. I just like planning stuff. And I like, or typing it out. I don't just write it out. I type it out and print it. Anyway, I like movie reaction videos on YouTube. Man, I love watching, I don't know what it is, but I like watching people react to movies. Popcorn in Bed, Natalie Gold, Cinebinge, Octo Cruel, and there's a new one, Nikki Lou. Those are some of my favorite reaction people. They, and when they watch Aliens, it's like, okay, I know the part they're going to really react to. when Ripley discovers I won't spoil it. At the end, and then the ending of Aliens is like, oh, I know how they're going to react to that, and so I fast forward. Anyway, I really like YouTube movie reaction videos. I like the West Coast because it's open space. I like being able to go to the beach or go to the mountains, and everything's very near. So I just like the West Coast. It's very open, deserts, and finally. I hope you've enjoyed this so far. I have, for some reason. I like sitting and thinking. Just sitting and thinking. Unplugging, not looking at my phone, not looking at technology, just sitting and pondering. It's very old school, Just sit and think. Sit in a chair outside, watch the trees blow in the breeze, and just thinking about stuff. That's how I come up with a lot of silly thoughts. I just love thinking about stuff, and I don't know how often you think about stuff, but man, thinking's great. Thinking and wondering about stuff. And, with this technology, we're constantly inputting, and you just got to turn it off and just stare at the clouds and watch them go by and just think about stuff and, what's the future going to be like? And, how have I changed throughout my life? And, just think about things. Anyway, those are some of the things that I like. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I would love to know some of the things that you like. So if you want to leave in the comments things that you like, or if you like some of the things that I like, I would love to hear about it. I really would. So thank you for hanging out with me for this week's YouTube video, and I will be back next week with a very interesting YouTube video. That'll be fun. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week. Thursdays are orange. I don't know why.